Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and this is a very exciting first impressions. This is the Empedc Relative. So really quick, let's look at these specs. You will notice it says CPM MAGNACUT or 20 CV. So they will have at least one run of the MAGNACUT at 63 HRC, but they do not think they're going to be able to do more than one run because of getting MAGNACUT overseas. So Bestech will be able to do, because Bestech is the OEM, will be able to do, as far as I know, one run at the very least. Now, if it is the 20 CV version you wind up picking, it is going to be heat treated between 61 and 62 HRC. And the pre-order will open up October 8th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Now, when you go into here, if you pick the MAGNACUT version, it looks like you can only get the MAGNACUT in the black, bronze, and satin blade. So you get the black titanium with the bronze accents with the satin blade, and then these versions in the 20 CV. Dual ground clip point Tonto. So we have a super thin and broad hollow grind here. Amazing geometry. With a flat grind up here. This still has good geometry, but it makes it a little bit more robust, especially for this clip point tip. Then we have a full titanium frame lock with beautiful milling patterns, and then the edges have this chamfer going all the way around them that's slightly like convexed. Or not convex, sorry, slightly hollowed. T8 hardware all the way around. Titanium milled pocket clip and backspacer. And it's got that bronzish color. Access to the lock bar's perfection. And this whole deployment lands exactly where you want it. The sound, it's a beautiful, beautiful sound. Listen to it. My wife's playing the piano in the background, so you guys might hear that as well. I'm not sure if it's coming over the microphone. It does have a really cool lockup sound. My wife, she's back there practicing this new song new piano song she's making. Anyways, the front flipper works great. Aside from, there's one little tiny skip here, but I'm not going to hold it against them, and I'll explain why. But they went up and around the front flipper with the jimping. Up and then, around. But this jimping doesn't do anything right there. The point of going up and around is to get this corner, is to have one jimping right there on that corner. Now, it doesn't matter in this case. The reason why is because it goes really high. So even when you're up at the top, it still catches. So perfectly well done. I'm very happy with the jimping. The front flipper works great. You can do all the tricks and stuff. It works great. That sound, man. Really cool sound. Lockup, very, engages great. Listen to this lockup. You can really hear, and especially in hand, feel the lock bar engage in place. That assures me that it's going to lock up no matter what, whether it's slow rolled, whether, it almost misfires. It's going to engage because the lock bar is going to pull itself underneath the tang of the blade, making a nice tight lockup. And it is rock solid. Ceramic caged bearings, the slow roll. Also, man, the action on this is just amazing because the hole is just put in the spot that you want it for all deployments. Even if I was going to do the ring finger, I bet you I can even get a pinky finger going. Oh, hit my pointer. Very easily. The drop, very smooth. It might be still breaking in a little bit because I can feel the detent slightly on the satin. Not like a zipper, but I you know, it's with all knives, the detent, the ceramic detent ball has to break into the coating from the blade, and that will happen throughout time. And it just feels like it just is breaking in. So great feeling. I believe internal stop pins. So that's going to help with some pivot stability. Plunge grind and choil. Perfect execution. Look at that. Plunge grind starts here, ends very rapidly, gives you tons of life to sharpen off. So as you start sharpening and you remove steel up the blade, you have all of that steel to remove before you hit the plunge grind right there. This fuller, it's not sharp on the edge, so I'm sure, I haven't used this yet, but passing it through materials, I imagine it's going to glide right through just fine. I don't think this will give you too much drag, maybe a tiny bit, but not too much. But it does allow you, if you really wanted to reverse flick it with the side of your finger. The detent is well tuned enough for that. So, sorry for all the sounds, guys. I'm sure my microphone's picking up all kinds of noises. The milling on the inside, really good milling. Very lightweight. This thing is extremely, extremely light. Yet, it still feels tough. It doesn't have that. It's too light. It's too weak. It feels flimsy. It feels fragile. It does not have that. It has that tough build quality feel while also being very light. Utility cuts. That might be, I'm not going to say the biggest issue because I think it'll still be very easy for most people to be able to get to a utility cut just fine with this blade shape. Some clip points, especially ones that Persian up like that, and if you notice, this one does Persian up a little bit. There's a, it's not perfectly flat. Let me grab a box. So you can see there's a gap underneath the blade right there, so it's not perfectly flat. I prefer flat. I prefer this to just be a straight clip point instead of curving up. Now, it doesn't curve up that much, so utility cut's going to be just fine. Now, the secondary Tonto here, I understand it for the dual grind, but I don't understand it for being anything functional. I don't see this really. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could open some things up with it, but nothing that you're not just going to use your primary tip for anyways. This does give you a straight edge here, and then it starts angling up from right here because of the Tonto. So I suppose you could use this part of the edge to get into things. I just don't know about the secondary Tonto part, but I will say this. If you don't like that, that's okay. This is so easy to sharpen off. All you would have to do is sharpen it like a drop point or sharpen it like a regular clip point. Just don't stop here and do these two sections separately. Do them all at once. You can easily create just a belly. So there would be no secondary tip if you wanted to. It does make it look cool, so I will give it that. If it was more pronounced, I would argue that it was functional, but it's just not as pronounced as it could be to be a very functional one. The jimping up the spine, excellent jimping. Look at that jimping. Beautiful jimping. I'm not like a huge jimping fanboy or anything. If it's functional, I'm okay with it. In this case, because there's so much, no matter where you grab onto, you have this little bit of texture here. You have the choil, so you're already locked in. You put that finger right there, you're really, really locked in. If you're going to do some utility cuts, you can use this because it is nice and grippy. It's not slippery. I hate it when they put jimping on there and, it's just super slick. This stuff is actually grippy, actually grabs you, and it's in every place that you might want it. So, very, very awesome there. Damn good looking knife. But there you guys go. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.